Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So the last video we had did some rough-in wiring into the box, and this video we're going to wire everything up. So what I've done ahead is I've got a whiteboard up here and I drew out our wiring diagram. Now I am going to fill in the blanks on that wiring diagram and actually show it to you as I'm doing it into the box. So the idea here is to try to give you guys a visual how it looks in the box, and of course drawing it out on this whiteboard, hoping that you guys could see it a little easier, okay? So let me get this camera on a stand and we'll get to wiring this thing up. If you guys have any questions in regards to wiring this up, please let me know. Just message me and I'll be more than willing to help you. These here, a couple of notes on this whiteboard. The fan is 110 and the light is 110, okay? This is a 220 application, and I'll show you how to wire that to 110 within the 220 family, okay? Or 220 box. And then of course we've got our switches. This is your PID controller, PID, right? Yeah, PID controller. And this is your switches that I have on the front panel, okay? So we power on, the fan automatically turns on, and burner 1. Switch 2 is power on for burner 2, and switch 3 is for power on light, okay? We'll put number 3 there. I didn't write that down, but I will. So, of course, this is our plug that's going into the wall. And here we are is our power distributor or distribution bar or power bar. Red being hot, black, and your white. Of course, your green is your ground, okay? So let's put this camera on a tripod and let's get rocking and rolling. Okay guys, so what I did here is I made a pigtail with 2 of my 10 gauge, and we're going to use this to do the wiring for the light, okay? So this is going to be for the white terminal, so for the white feed, and we're going to put it inside there. I've got my light wired into my last switch here, and this is going to go in there, and the one white is going to come on the top, and then we're going to take another black and wire it there, okay? So let me get this one in there. And I need a star or Phillips screwdriver. So we know this is white. Let's take that one out. Like so. And we'll get that white one in there. Okay, so that's proven to be, this is where trying to keep things as neat as we can definitely be a challenge. Okay, so the white is in there. We're just going to push that away from the fan, and we got one here, which is great. Okay. So remember, the white, I'm always going to keep it in the sense that we just want it to be able to turn it on and off when the unit's plugged in, that we don't have to actually turn the heat elements on in order for it to work, okay? And then we have an extra white here. So let's cut this off. This has got a little bit of red paint from when I did it the last time, and I'll put a little bit of white paint on that. And this one I'm going to keep. So this one I don't have to worry about cutting it later. So what I will do is heat shrink this one. Okay guys? The ones that I'm taping I know that I'm going to have to cut. So I'm not too concerned. Okay, that's good. So let me go get the white marker and I'll go over that pink or that red that I had there. This way we know it's white. And we don't have to ever worry about having an issue with it later. What I'll do is I'll take the white and the red with me right now, just in case. Okay, so we know this is white. Okay, just got to get a little extra out of there. Okay, so we know that's white. So let's put a little bit of heat shrink on that one. One that fits would be nice. Oh, this is pretty tight fit. All right, let's heat that up. All right, and that's going to go right here. Let that cool off for a second. Okay, so we got our white on that. So now we're going to need another block to go on to this side, which is another hot leg. So that's 110, right? And that's going to go into here. Okay. So what we'll do here is we're going to need a few blocks and a few reds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. Is I'm going to do a pigtail off the black and off the red. This way I've got some extra to play with, and we'll do it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some wire, and we're going to make a couple. We'll cut them a little longer. Okay. And then how I do it is I'll take it, divide it in half like so. I'll put my wire strip in the middle, and I will stretch out the wire just like so. And then just cut that off. So that's what I've done there. I'll do it again here a little bit, a little longer. And then cut it. This is to create a pigtail, guys. So basically a double line, okay? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and just smoothen it out. Like that. And then we're going to put on a crimp, like so. Hopefully you guys can see all that. And then crimp that in place, nice and tightly. I got two lines coming out of that, okay? So we're going to heat shrink that. Oh, well, that heat shrink wasn't good. Not at all, it was cut. Okay, so there you go, guys. Okay, so that's going to go on the block. There we go. Okay, so that's going to go on that block, and this block is actually going to go onto there. Okay, and now that will wire up the light beautifully. We'll leave a little extra length just in case. This might be just a little too long. And we'll clamp that. And let's give it a crimp. Now that one I'm going to keep, so we're going to heat shrink that. So I get that over top. Okay. I'm just going to heat shrink that all up nicely. There we go. That's heat shrunk up. Okay guys, so I've got that crimped on. We're going to put that in. And now the light is wired up, okay? Which is awesome. So what I'm going to do is, as I do something, I'm going to go back to that whiteboard and actually draw it on the whiteboard for you guys. This way you can keep track and we can keep track of where we're at. I just need to find my other dry erase marker. Okay, I guess I got it here. Okay, so I'm going to move you over to the board, and we're going to draw in what I just did with the light. Okay guys, so what I got ahead is drew in the light. So I took my two wires from the light and brought them into the bottom. Those are both black wires. I don't have white, so I use yellow. One to the bar and black to the bar, and that's what I did there. The light is all checked, we're good. Okay, and that's our third switch. So now we have to power up the SSR, which is your solid state relay, and we have to power up the PDI, which is your controller, okay? And we'll get to that, and I'll move you back to the box as we do it. So what I'll do is I'll do it on the box, then I'll come back here and draw it. I'm hoping that it'll be a little easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. It's going to get busy on that board, but I'm going to try to keep it as simple as I can, okay? Okay guys, so we know that we're going to be using number 1 to run the PDI controller and bring power into the oven, okay? So what we want to do here is, we know that the hot is on the top and the switched is at the bottom, okay? So we're going to run 2 hot. So we're going to run red and a black to this unit, okay? Here. We're going to have to take a couple of the 10 gauge. So I'm using heavier wire for that, and it's been using heavier wire all the way through. So let's cut 2 of them. We'll leave them a little bit longer. And then I'll cut them down to size. I have a tendency to use a lot of wire. I just don't want to ever be caught where I'm short. because then you know, you're taking everything apart and redoing everything again. I'd rather put it together and take it apart later and then cut it back and redo it again to make sure that it sits in there right. Okay, so I'm making one red and one black. Okay, and that's going to go into the top of that. So we need some small and then what I'll do is I'll draw it on there for you again, but for the time being, clamp that on there. Nice. And we'll clamp this one on there. And we'll bolt those in there. Actually, I have a block out, so I only need the red. Yeah, I forgot. I had the block out. Okay. So let's put some heat shrink on this. Where is my heat shrink? And we'll turn on the torch. I got heat shrink. So I already have an extra black here, so we don't need that. We only need the red. And I am going to just make a mark on that it is red as a visual, and then I will go and draw it on for you there, guys. So let's loosen this red up. Okay, there we go. We got a red, and we should have an extra black right here. Okay, and that's going to go to the top of that switch. These are two different lengths, so we'll cut them down just a tad. There we go. And we'll put an end on them. Now these rocker switches, toggle switches, they are rated for 240, 30 amps. We're well beneath 30 amps. We're at about 27 amps. They work quite well. I've used them in other builds and don't really have an issue with them. Only one time, and they were mislabeled, that I had an issue. And it popped the breaker. So let's get this on there. When you're doing your wiring, guys, take your time. Don't rush it. Just make sure you're patient, and try to keep things as neat as you can, because it becomes a wiring nightmare. It can be anyway, and you don't want that, okay? Okay, so this is where we're powering up here. So what we need to do here, if I'm not mistaken, is we need the fan to turn on when we are, this is an extra white here. Okay, so we need that fan to turn on. So what we're going to do in order to get that fan to turn on is we're going to hook up that white to this block, one of these wires. Okay, and that's a fan. So the fan is 110, not 220. Okay, So we need to be able to make 220. So that would be on the outside line. So that's not coming on the inside. So we'll leave that as is. So this is black. There we go. And we need red. Actually, we have to heat shrink that. Let's make sure we heat shrink those both. And that's on the outside. So when we turn the power on, we got it there. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm jumping the gun here just a bit. Okay. Heat shrink. Oops. Cut 2. There we go. And we need a lighter. Where's my lighter? There it is. There's that one. Light that again. Okay, so we've got one red, one black. Okay, so we'll do, doesn't matter what side you put them on, they'll both work. There we go, we got that on there, okay? So now we've got hot power coming to this, okay? Which is awesome. So when we switch this switch down, it'll send that 220 down to the bottom, okay? So nothing's hooked up yet. We just got power to the switch. So now we need power that comes from here to the solid state relay number 1, okay? So what we're going to do is make another end that goes here to the number 1. Okay, and then I'll explain to you how all that's going to work out. Okay, but right time, let me draw that on there so you guys can actually see what I just did. Okay, so let me get my dry erase marker here. So what we did now is we took power and we took a red and a black. Okay. So I'm gonna come out around here and show you what I've got going on. So I took my, this is my block. Okay, so I took my red and I came around here and I put her right there, okay? Then I took my block and I did the same deal. Okay? So now I've got power to the main, okay? Here we have to run the fan and burner 1, okay? So I'll explain to you how that's going to work. So burner 1, remember we marked them color-wise, right? So I'll show you exactly how that's going to work. So the next step here is we're going to take our wire from our first switch. This is our main switch that's going to send all power to everything. Is we're going to take one lug and we're going to go to the number 1 on the solid state relay. Let's see if you guys can see that right there, okay? So what I'm going to do is put a clamp on there and we'll heat shrink it on the number 1. Now what that does, the solid state relay, is it's a smart switch is basically what it is. So what it's doing is it's controlling the burners to go on and off, right? When it's hitting a certain temp. You know, the PDI, the controller will ask the switch to turn it on and off. And that's basically, in simple terms, how it actually works. Okay, that's nice and tight. Oop, drop the heat shrink. I'll get this heat shrink on there. So is it tedious? Yes, it is. But it looks more complicated than it actually is. Where is my lighter? What's more complicated is finding things, guys. I have a tendency to lose everything. What the heck did I do with that lighter? Oh, it's right in front of me. Jeez. All right. That's that. So let's unscrew the number 1 from the controller or PDI. It's not PDI, the SSR. Flipping over my own tongue. Unscrew that. Okay. And we shall put that one in there. Tighten it up nice and tight. So that's sending power to that. Okay, and that's going to go to my switch here, just like that. And we'll put the end on there. I'm going to leave it a little extra wire because when we have to flip this thing over, and we'll put an end on it. And we'll plug that one in. There we go. Oh shit. Forgot to put heat shrink on that. We gotta put a piece of heat shrink on there, guys. Where's the heat shrink? So we have a tendency to run out of heat shrink because I used it quite a bit on my builds, but could have swore I had more here. Oh, it's right in front of me. Ooh, boy. Put that over top. There we go. It's funny because I can wire this thing no problem quickly in my own head. But when you try to explain it, wow, that's a whole new dimension. There we go. And that one's on there, guys. Okay, so let me bring you back over there and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so we sent power. Let me get my dry erase marker. So we sent power from, okay, our number 1 to the solid state relay. So we sent one thing from here up to number 1. Okay, so that's the main one. Now the next one will be that one. Okay. Now realistically, that can go directly to the burner. Okay. But what we need to do is be able to run a secondary burner, and I'll explain to you how that's going to work. Okay, using the one solid state relay. Now let's get back to the control panel and we'll continue. Okay guys, so what we're going to do now is this is our burner 1. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this end and we're going to hook that up. But this one is going to have a few different things being hooked up to it. One is the fan. So we're going to hook up the fan to it. We're going to hook it up in 110, not 220, okay? So by why I'm doing, okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. Let's see if I can strip that without cutting too much wire off. There we go. Okay. So what's going to happen is we're only hooking it up to the one leg, okay? And then here's my white extra, and we're going to hook that up there, and that's going to make that fan 110, and that's going to work out just beautifully. This is way too long. Still way too long. Of course, that wire is not long enough to thread on there, or maybe it is. Is it long enough? No. Hold on, let's just peel that back just a tad more. There we go. And then we're going to put one of our crimps on there. Just want to make sure I've got enough wire on that. And we do. Wrong one. That's the right one. And we should be able to crimp that in there. Nice and tight. I'm not going to loosen. Perfect. Okay, let's put some heat shrink on that. Then what I'll do is I'll get this one set up and I'll show you what I did there on the board, and I'll explain to you how I hooked that up. Okay, and that should let that cool off for a second. So what this one is going to hook up to the white that we had, that tail we had. So I am going to strip that back a bit. Just like so. Might be just a little long. And then we're going to put Marette on that. Okay, so there you go. And that's going to go here. So what happens here now is when we turn this on, okay, I mean, this still has to be hooked up, but when we turn the main one on, what's going to happen is the fan is going to kick on. We still got to power this guy up, so we're going to get to that, but I just wanted to give you an idea, okay? So we got power to that. So we still have to send power to this unit. That's coming. No big deal. But here we go. We're ready to go. We're pretty well. Okay. We took power from here. Okay. So we took one block. We're going to come all the way down. And we hooked it up here from the fan. Okay. And then we took, if I'm not mistaken, one of the burners. Okay, so we don't have the burners drawn out yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out two burners here. Okay, so we took one of the burners. Okay, and let's do this one here, and we hooked it up here. Okay, so you got one burner. This is burner one. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we have the one burner, we have one leg out. So these two come from the secondary burner. Those are going to go at the bottom. We're going to even them out a little bit because they're slightly off. I don't want to cut too much off, but enough that, you know, keep the wire somewhat organized and even. Okay, so let's put on two clips. So the bottom of this switch, of course, is the on position, right? And we'll clamp that. Clamp that. Nice and tight. Oh, I got some. Okay, let's put some heat shrink on that. Nice. Nice. Okay, heat that up. All right, so let's get these on the bottom one. One. Two, nice and tight. There we go. That's the first burner, okay? So remember the line that's coming out of this going into the SSR is always black, okay? So we're always running the black line. Or in my line, sorry, I'm incorrect. It's always the red line. Okay, so it's coming from the red, going to this, and that is going to be red coming out. So correction. Okay, so what that is No. What did I do here? Sorry, I'm wrong. It's always the black line. I was right the first time. So it's coming through here, going into that switch, out of this switch, into the solid state relay, coming out as a block. Okay? So what we need here is an extra red on the one side, and then this block is going to go into here and tie into here. And that should be all powered up. But let's not jump the gun yet. Let's go back to our drawing and draw what we just did in. Okay. Let me grab dry erase marker. Okay, so we took number 2 and we came out with 2 lines, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across, I'm going to come up and out, down here, okay guys? So 1 line. Two lines, okay? So the 1 line is going to the next burner. And this line is coming up and going right here. Okay? Then we took a red line. I know it's starting to look like spaghetti, but if you follow the lines, you'll get where I'm going with everything. We come down, and it's right here. Okay, guys, so we're going to start hooking up the PID controller. So to get power to this guy, okay, we're going to go, it is 9 and 10. It's not polarity specific, so you don't have to worry. I am using some thinner gauge wire because it's low voltage. Unfortunately, I don't have any red. I just got black, so I can't even do red and hot. But I can always use some paint to do the red. We can do that. So I'm using some spade crimps. If you guys have ever wired one of these things, the screws are so small, the writing is so small. I literally got to take a picture with my phone and expand it to see what the writing says on the back. It's terrible once you pass 50. But anyway, that's you lose your eyesight and you gain weight. So there you go. Now, that's not for everyone. That's just for me. But anyway, that's all right. So what I'm going to do is unscrew that. Now you don't have to unscrew it all the way. And I'm going to try to squeeze that. Well, I might have to unscrew the hook all the way. Because these spades are just a little big. So what I'm going to do is shove that in like so. So it can't even let me hook it up. Come on. No, it won't. Look at that. So let's squeeze these down just a tad, guys. See if that helps. Yeah, that made it better. Okay. So this thing is drawing low voltage, so you don't really need anything too crazy as far as wiring is concerned. Did I do with the other one? No. There it is. It's on the ground. Okay, so let's see if we can get this one in there. We'll squeeze this one a bit. Look, I got it pretty good. Just making sure I don't have it looped up to the other one accidentally. Okay. Just bend them up a bit. All right, so I got those there. So from the PID, we want 9 and 10 is for power. Okay, so that we're going to get 2 wires and we're going to hook it up here. Where's number 1? Right here. I'm sorry. So we're going to go here. 1, 2. Okay, so that'll turn on. When that turns on, it'll turn on the PID. Okay, it's pretty simple and it works out great. So now what we'll do is we'll hook up the SSR to the PID and the thermocoupler to the PID. And guys, we should be done. Okay, let me bring it back to the oven. Okay guys, so we're going to run another one. We're going to run a control from the PID to the solid state relay. So number 8 is positive and number 6 is negative. And we should be done right, and I will change it on the board. Okay, so again, going from the PID, we're going from number 6 here is negative, and number 8 is positive. Okay, so number 8 will connect to number 3 positive, and number 6 negative will connect to number 4 negative. And that should be perfect. And I'll go change it on that whiteboard again. Okay. I'm trying to keep it so you can follow along everything. So we did number 8 positive, number 6 negative. So this is my negative line. Right there. This is my positive line. Oh, I screwed that up. I screwed that up. Shit. Let's take that out again. So 8 is positive. So we're going to follow that positive line, positive, and 6 is negative, negative. There we go. This is a negative, this is positive. Okay? So just remember 6 is negative, 8 is positive, and you should be good. Okay, and that goes to number 4 is negative, and number 3 is positive. And we're good. Okay, let's get the thermocoupler hooked up and go from there. Okay guys, so we're going to hook up the thermocoupler. So what we know is that number 4 is positive and number 3, which is right above it, is negative. And these are color coded, okay? So the red is hot and the blue is negative. This is the thermocoupler. This already comes with the pins on it, when you order the PID. And there we go. We got her all wired up, guys. So now what we're going to do is, let me bring it back to the board and I'll draw it for you and show you what I did. Okay, so we're going to take the pin number 4, which is the positive, which is this one here, this positive, and that's pin number 4. And then pin number 3 is right underneath it, and I don't have a red marker. What do I do with it? I'm not sure where I put it. Okay. Oh, well, okay, that'll work. And this one is negative. This is number 3. Well, I screwed that up. Okay, so this is number 4. This is hot. Looking for markers, I'm getting myself confused here. This is 3, which is negative. So negative, positive. And that's it, guys. She's all hooked up. Okay, so now we've got all our wiring done. What I'll do is I'll take a close-up shot of that and put it on my video so you guys can see it close up. If you follow the lines, you should be good. I know I got a little confused in there with the pin configuration, but we got it all figured out. I am going to power it up and make sure everything is working and show you guys how that looks. Okay guys, so I got her powered up. So let's turn the light on and see what happens. We move up there and we got light. That's awesome. And we can turn that off. So the first one is way back here. Let's turn it on. PID just turned on. Fans on. SSR is on. Let's see if that burner might take a few minutes to warm up, but let's see what happens. Oh yeah, she's starting to warm up. Oh, there she is, burner 1. Now these burners have never been run, so they'll be take a couple minutes to get them glowing nice and hot, but she's warming up nicely. Okay, let's see if we can get number 2 on. Fan's blowing nicely. Oh yeah, beautiful. Oh yeah, she's on. Just gotta take a minute for it to heat up. Starting to go red. Well, that's shooting off all kinds of heat, guys. Okay. They are on and running beautifully. And let's just turn the light on for giggles. That's awesome. That's what it looks like from the front. So guys, it's working beautifully. I'm gonna call it. We're gonna end this video here. We've got power, guys. We've got heat and full control. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this segment. Please like and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. More to come on this oven. Next segment will be filling up the walls with some insulation. I got a couple of tricks up my sleeve for the piping. I think you guys will like. And rack and door, glass, and paint. So more to come. Thanks for watching again, guys.